Micah is just...
He doesn't look ready.
No, I'm not. I'm only sending it every 5 days.
Is that fair? He doesn't look ready.
No. What do you want him to do, though?
I mean, how could he
stretching?
prove to you he's ready?
Puts on his
Not
jersey.
yawn. I mean, that would help.
People get tired, Drew.
Boring watching these practices.
I'm pulling for him, but he just doesn't.
Fair point. Meanwhile, Patrick Surtain won Defensive Player of the Year last year. What are the chances he can repeat? Early predictions for Defensive Player of the Year.
Wow.
You can win the coveted first things first Defensive Player of the Year.
Which is a glove, a very sticky glove.
One glove, and Brew refuses to participate.
Yeah.
And finally, division predictions, AFC and NFC North, featuring a very special guest on the show who is in the building. We're not going to say who it is, but stay tuned. It's a fantastic guest.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's going to be great. It also might be the dumbest thing we've ever done, and that is a high bar to beat.
Yesterday you were upstairs kissing envelopes.
I was not.
And spray painting flowers.
I was doing nothing.
This dude is
painting
upstairs
roses.
putting lipstick on, kissing envelopes. And
What?
it's insane. Someone had to go to CVS and get lipstick.
What are you talking? You sound insane, bro. You
I know
sound
that.
crazy.
I know that.
Says
Think
the
I'm
man
upstairs?
kissing
I'm the numbers
paper,
guy.
letters.
Think I'm upstairs putting on makeup, kissing envelopes, trying to make them look like small feminine lips? That's so crazy. What is wrong with you?
I can't wait to get my own solo project. We start with Rashee Rice's suspension, 6 games. This had been rumored. Now it's official. It's official. He's not appealing it. He will miss the Chargers game opening Friday in Sao Paulo. Super Bowl rematch against the Eagles. Frisky, aura-filled Giants game. Ravens.
They're all hard. It's just a disaster.
Jacksonville, and the Lions. Now, I was upstairs. I said, these are 3 huge games.
No, that's not what you said. You said 3 of your 4 biggest games of the
3
year.
of it, yeah. Which I viewed, Brew, as the Bills, the Lions, the Super Bowl rematch, and Lamar and the Ravens.
Yeah.
And then here was mixed
division
response.
games, obviously.
Thank you, Brew. Listen, so all right, before I respond to Wild's incorrect take from earlier that we will address here, and Wild's get very mad at me, I did check in on the tinfoil hat crew to see how this fits into the Chiefs conspiracy. Because remember, they were delaying it because no one's going to watch now. Like, Rashee's out. And listen, you guys have joked. You guys weren't joking, but I'm going to take it as joking because it hurt my feelings that I am pestering people like Micah Parsons and they're leaving me on red.
I knew that were your feelings. I was like, as soon as I said, like, ooh.
It has been months.
Because it was not, because it was just not true. It represents me.
I mean, of course you don't think it's true. But
the way you laughed, I didn't like it. However, I will tell you someone who I bet wishes didn't give me their number. And that is Florio, who tweeted, he's like, you have my number, text me instead of tweet about me. So I'm like, no problem, buddy. So I text him today, and he responded nicely. I don't have to get into it about hey, so like, is it still a vast conspiracy to help YouTube TV by making sure Rashee Rice is playing? That was always done, but like most conspiracies, the moment they're disproven, you moved on to the next one. Right. Now, I preferred he be suspended later. Brew made a compelling case. He thought it was better for the Chiefs that it happened now. I actually think the Chiefs as a whole agreed more with Brew than with me. That it's like, get it over with. Now, I'm sure they would have rather it had been 4 games instead of 6, but 6 to me is the reasonable, fair outcome. I thought 4 was the best he could have hoped for. I thought 8 was the longest reasonable. I thought 10 would have been outrageous, and anything under 4, given the fact of how dangerous it was and this shouldn't matter, but it does, that it was on video. You knew it was like
totally
that, right, that was going to play into it. Now to the impact on the team. If we put the Chiefs' schedule up again, if we were to look at, if he, instead of being suspended games 1 through 6, was suspended games 7 through 12, you can make just as compelling of an argument that that 6-game stretch is as difficult or certainly as important as the first 6-game stretch. That one has the Bills game, the single biggest game of the year alongside the Ravens game, 2 divisional games in the Raiders and the Broncos. The Commanders, which according to Vegas are eye-to-eye with the Lions this year as far as quality of team. So where I am not buying that, oh, this is the worst part of the year to be suspended. If I were to power rank games by importance, not by difficulty, but by importance, Baltimore and Buffalo are the first two. The next 6 are your 6 divisional games. And for me, after that would be Texans, or if you believe in the Jags, a team that could matter for divisional winner playoff seeding. Like the cross-conference games are the least important games on your schedule, unless you believe there is some psychological edge to Philadelphia. And I'm here to tell you, there is no world that exists where if the Chiefs lose to the Eagles in week 2, they're like, well, we just can't beat that team. That's the part that I disagree with.
I agree with you that that middle part of the schedule, 7 to 12, is just as important as the first 6 games. I do think Philly's a very important game. If they lose to Philly and it's close, fine. If they get stomped by Philly again, now I agree. I don't think the Chiefs are obviously mentally tough. I don't think they'll throw in the towel and feel like we got no chance of winning the Super Bowl. But I do think that would matter. If they got beat 33 to 14 or something like that.
Can I ask you this, and then I'll let you go? If they get beat by 20 without Rashee Rice, do we think, well, they would, if we're talking about them getting blown out, that to me is Rashee Rice independent. True. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think the Super Bowl would have gone different had they, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was taking Rashee out of that. I'm just saying in general, they don't have to necessarily beat the Eagles, although it'd be great for them. They need to not get blown out, though, after what happened in the Super Bowl. But like I said a few weeks ago when we talked about this, I do think this is the best thing for if he has to be suspended the first 6 games, because let's say they do whatever of those, Philly, Baltimore, Detroit, whichever of those games they win, that gives them an edge over that team mentally, because if they meet them in the postseason, because they beat you without Rashee Rice. And and him coming back will just make the Chiefs even better. If they lose, whichever of those teams they may lose to, the other team, if they meet in the postseason, has to deal with Rashee coming back, a better version of the Chiefs. They will not have faced him, so, it'll be different for him. So, and then mentally, if they beat any of those teams without Rashee, now you really have a mental advantage over them, because we beat you without our best receiver. When he's back, you really are in trouble. So I think it's good for him.
You think it's good for him?
No, I mean, if he's going to be suspended, I thought the first 6.
He wanted it early.
I knew he was getting suspended, and
so
6 is fair. I mean, 8 would have been justifiable, but 6 is fine.
That's the thing. First of all, I just want to establish, I am a Chiefs fan.
No, you're not.
And it's a two-way street. I love the Chiefs, and I'm beloved in Kansas City.
It's neither of those things
That being
are true.
said,
There we go.
I don't like this at all. The Chargers game, I'm not willing to just say, oh, that's an easy win. It's in Sao Paulo, and now you don't have your number 1 wide receiver. I don't like it right off the bat. Best scoring defense in the league. I just don't like it.
Go ahead. I'll let you keep going.
And then you got a Super Bowl rematch that I do think there is some sort of psychological something there. You won the Super Bowl, you lost in Arrowhead, you got embarrassed, and I know the only reason I think it's a psychological thing for the Chiefs is when Sirianni pulled the starters and Jalen's hanging out, Mahomes is still there. They didn't want to get blown out. So, let's...
If they get blown out, I agree.
So you're scoring touchdowns with 2 minutes left. The game, but there's something there that they didn't want it to be as ugly as it was.
They didn't want to be blown out in the Super Bowl. I agree. I think that's definitely true.
But they still did, but it felt, I don't know, I felt like there was...
It's the Super Bowl, bro. Nobody pulls their starters in the Super Bowl ever.
That's Nick Sirianni did.
No trailing team.
You would admit, though, if the Chiefs get blown out by the Eagles.
So here's what I think.
It says a lot.
It says a lot about their chances if the same 2 teams meet in the Super Bowl again in back-to-back years. I would agree with that. I do not think it would. Here is my triple pushback. Last year, the Chiefs played the Niners before the Niners were ravaged by you know what I mean? Before their season was over. Annihilated them after having beaten them in a Super Bowl, beaten them the year before in the regular season, beaten them in another Super Bowl, and nobody on this show said, well, the Niners season's over.
They didn't crush the Niners in the Super Bowl.
No, but correct. They crushed them. They crushed them in the regular season. I also think we are just not being honest about how the Chiefs are wired and the Chiefs are built. If we think there is any result that can happen in the regular season that is going to make them feel like they're the underdogs ever.
No, but if you're 0-2,
but
right?
So,
if you're right away, you're 0-2. You're headed to
so
I'm just talking right. I'm just talking.
We do this. If with respect, we do this every year with the Chiefs. We talk about how they could lose all these games every year because they always have a hard schedule to start the season, and their worst start is 3-1. Like they did lose to Detroit that year. They did. And then they reeled off victories. Last year, they played terribly the first 6 weeks, which is why they were only 6-0 through 6 weeks. They also played you're talking about the Charger game. Rashee Rice got his knee blown out at the beginning of the Charger game. They beat him. Then, you know what I mean? Then they went and beat him again.
Element of just like the neutral field.
But so doesn't that, to me, that is... And this is some of my frustration with some of the commentary surrounding the defining dynasty of this decade. You're right. It is weird to play a game in Brazil. I would imagine that will impact a Charger team more than the Chiefs team. I think that I
don't know if that's true.
Why?
Because I think if you're the overmatched team benefits from unique circumstances. Like if there's going to be an upset. It's like, ooh, the London game. I don't know how that's going to play out.
But then I guess here's because it feels to me like a lot of times with like teams at this caliber, we set the stakes as to how they can lose. When they win, we act like it didn't mean anything. So like, are you now of the belief that if you are definitely, without a doubt, picking on Friday the Eagles to win the Super Bowl?
No one knows that.
If the Chiefs, who you think could start 0-2, if the Chiefs start 2-0 by winning this weird, tough Sao Paulo game without Rashee Rice and then beats Philly, are you going to come out here Monday and say the Chiefs are the best team in football?
I've always said I'm beloved in Kansas City and I love the Chiefs.
I
literally started the segment like that. I literally started by saying I love the Chiefs.
I will say this. Look, I think Rashee is their best receiver. I think he's a Pro Bowl caliber receiver, all that. They went to the Super Bowl last year without him. Like, they will be fine in these first games.
Okay.
Now, they're better with him.
Yeah.
But they're still great without him.
I understand. But if we took all of the top teams and Jamar Chase went down or Zay Flowers went down.
Yeah, but
they haven't had like Rashee's not that.
And right, if
he's
we
not
took
one of
all
those
their number one
KW,
guy.
and if you took all those top teams and gave them Marquez Valdes-Scantling, McCole Hardman, Sky Moore, and Juju as their leading receivers. Without Mahomes. As their leading receivers, they would be cooked. Those guys, all except for Juju, are now out of the league. The Chiefs won a Super Bowl with that year.
Okay.
So,
Mahomes is the difference.
Yeah.
I'm worried as a Chiefs fan. Okay?
Brew,
Leave it at that. 3-point favorites in Sao Paulo. Neutral field.
Yeah.
Josh Allen didn't play a snap of the preseason for the first time in his career. So no hits before the year and few hits during the year. Telling Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, last year was a step in the right direction where I didn't take too many hits. Now, I'm not saying I didn't take any, but during this offseason, this is the best I felt after any season because I didn't take those hits. Now, our Josh, slightly smaller than Josh Allen, pulled the data